What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bringing you guys really a mix of two things, right? I am going to be covering all of the Nexus battles that dropped. This is the third Nexus card from URL, giving my opinions on the winners and the losers of the card, obviously. My overall, I think it's 5 battles that dropped, and I've watched them all by now, some of them twice. And one of them that I've definitely rewatched is Sheed Happens versus Jay the Nitewing, which will probably be like the majority of this video. I will be, giving some thoughts on the others, some more than others at that. But with Sheed and Jay, by far battle of the night, extremely great matchup, extremely debatable, high quality, and like I said going into the battle, a breath of fresh air. It's two styles that truly don't sound that much else like anyone else. Jay the Nitewing is one of one, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to talk about that in a second. But we're going to do regular bar-for-bar review, round by round, and get my winner for that one. But before we do that, just want to go over some of the other battles. Like I said, I have some more thoughts on others. There's this whole choking dialogue going on, right? We're probably going to start there in a second. But, basically just going over everything that's happened with Nexus and maybe where I want to see the battlers go, depending on these results. So starting off, we'll talk about Hansel versus Dice. And this is the one that I said I'll have some more extensive thoughts on, right? Judge battle, they both put 500 on the floor, right? And I think that the judges got the call right in the building. I just disagreed a little bit with the rounds. They gave it unanimously to Hansel. I had Hansel winning the battle first and third. They gave him the second and the third, right? I think if you take the judging away, it'd be pretty debatable. I think there's a case for Dice in the second and the third. I'd also go as far to say I like Dice's material more throughout the battle. I think Dice has kind of higher upside as a talent. If he ever wants to reach it, he has to be more active. It's his third 3-rounder. And I believe it being his third 3-rounder kind of showed here, right? And cleanliness is the big conversation here. I think Dice's second is the round of the battle. They both were pretty good in the second round, but I believe that's the round, some would even debate that, right? That's why they gave Hansel the second round. I thought Dice's second is round of the battle, though, so obviously ended up giving Dice that round. The third round is another punch-out round. They punched out in the second. They were also just punching in the third, and I thought Hansel had better punches in the third, so I gave Hansel third. I think it's fairly close, so for those that have Dice winning second and third, I'm not mad at it. It's a judge result kind of set in stone, you know what I'm saying, in my opinion, but I'm not mad at that logic. Then you go to the first round of the battle. Dice had better material in the first round. I want to say that first one. I liked he had the mother heaven. Your mother's having dreams of you knocking on heaven's gates. She hears water in her ear, knocking on the other side. That was crazy, right? And Hansel, which I've been saying this, not a great angler. And I don't like the way he executed the angle in this first. I didn't like the whole angle about Dice, his job, basically. Dice is an engineer and showing the interview. And then while Dice is rapping too, showing the no audio, but showing the clip the whole time. It was bad sportsmanship. He lost to Justice because I feel like he didn't deliver angles good in the second. And a lot of that is angle choice. I didn't care for this angle choice. He didn't have an ass round, but I didn't think it was all that good. And Dice was on his way to clearly winning it. However, he's like, I'm going to slap the phone out your hand, the distraction. And the hand's like, I'm going to slap the bitch out you. And they kind of just get into it for a quick second. And Dice was already stumbling a bit in this battle. He was stumbling a bit in the third, which is probably another reason that I would give Hansel the third, right? But then he chokes. He stops rapping for 10 to 15 seconds. And there's been this whole debate. I think they're going on Twitter right now debating about, I'm debating with battlers about, Loso. And I think 40 Bars, of course, is out there saying, you can win choking around. And choking is this and that. And I'll always take the better material. If you choke in a round, you lose. I'm not going to talk about it here for 20 minutes. This is very, very, very simple. If you choke, not stumble. You can stumble. And if your opponent's really bad and we still feel like you have good material, you can win with the stumble, kind of repeating a bar 2 or 3 times and then get back into it. But if you stop rapping for 10 seconds or more and you're choking, you're silent, you've lost the round. It doesn't matter if you have better material. Part of this sport is getting your material out clean. And it's embedded in the sport that at any moment you could lose a round if you choke. It's just not acceptable. You will always, and that's how it's going to get judged here. I can't police how everyone else does it. I think it's disgusting. I think it's hand-holding otherwise. But if you choke in a round, you lose. Dice had better material. He clearly choked in his first round. So I had Hansel 1 and 3. I'd even go as far to say, I think I said in the beginning, I like Dice more as a talent. I think he showed in this battle. I think his ceiling could even be higher. It might sound unfair to Hansel. I'm sorry. I didn't like his antics in the first. I thought he was cool in this battle. I think getting the W is still big for him. Even the fact he took back-to-back judge battles on weekends, I think that's commendable as well. Took the L to Justice, turned around, got the W versus Dice. A big part of that is him being more clean. You get it. I'm still a fan of Dice. I can't wait to see where he goes next with this, but he lost because he choked in the first. Point blank period. Please stop talking about it, right? Now, Jackboy versus Wusa, I thought was a decent battle. This is another one where I think cleanliness comes into it a little bit as well, even though with Jack, I believe he was having like a lupus flare-up. He was having kind of like a health thing, and that severely hindered his performance, specifically in the second, and also in the third a bit as well. I would also say the first and the third are fairly close. I think the first is very debatable. Most people are going to edge that round to Jack. He wrapped a bit longer. I would go as far to say I edged it to Jack on first watch too, but you could really call that either way. I think the rest of the battle, though, definitely goes Wusa's way. I had Wusa very clear in the second, and that is the round where Jack kind of had his lupus flare up, but I thought Wusa was still good. And then in the third, Jack had good material too, but I think the stumbles were killing him a little bit, and Wusa still had good material in the third. If there's one thing I could say, though, W for Wusa, 2-130, I think you could call it. You know, like the first and the third are fairly close. I feel bad for Jack because I don't think this is like a memory thing, right? Like we're talking about with Dice. It's a health thing, but it clearly is affecting the performance either way compared to how Wusa is really locked in. I want to see Wusa hit some haymaker highs a little bit more, and I don't think it's a material thing with him because he brings good material every time. Maybe it's something in the delivery, but even the T-top battle, they clearly had him losing in the building, right? We felt different on camera because of cleanliness, right? And even when he beat Foots, like it's all good material, but it's like a lot. It's like a million paper cuts. Like it's jab, and it's stacking up witty lines. I know get a W how you can, but there's something in that delivery. I think he has to produce some more highs because he's not really standing out on these cards. You know what I mean? He's getting good Ws. He's doing his thing. I think it's a huge improvement from how he was starting on URL, but I would like to see, and I think it's something more. It's not material because it's great. It's got to be something more delivery based where you got to land some bombs, some high points that people can walk away, and that's how you build up some performances of the nights, battles of the nights. And I think he could get that under control. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I think it's more delivery than it is material. That's my one critique, though. I still have him winning the battle pretty clear, and I think it's even a solid performance from Jack. It's just a shame that his health acted up the way it did, because it's like you don't want to judge it because you know it's not in his control, but when the other guy's 100% clean and this is a war of performance and material, I got to give respect to that other side that was able to get through it a bit more clean, a bit more smoothly. So nothing really against Jack on that one, but Wusa winning the battle. And then the other two battles quickly before we get into Sheed versus Jay. J2 did, in fact, clear Jerry West. I feel like the first is debatable. It's very very similar to Wusa and Jack in a sense, even though there's no really excuse for like a health incident here, right? You could debate, I gave Jerry the first, but you could debate J2 got it. Jerry's not really that clean in the second. He's like an X-Men scheme for like his whole second. Listen, love X-Men. This is an X-Men shirt. I've wore this in quite a few videos, right? But I'm tired of X-Men schemes, dog. We've heard a lot. Would you believe? Yes, I would believe that we're doing another X-Men scheme because I've heard it 15 times. He had a couple clever bars. The Colossus. Like, there's a couple things I liked, but not great. And then J2's second half of his second, probably like the best segment of the battle. He started a little slow, but Jerry kind of had a slow round. And then on top of that, Jerry had a stumble, not a choke, a stumble in the second as well. But J2's round is just better content-wise, and it's more clean. Then the third, Jerry just flat out chokes. He chokes for like a while. They edit the footage, bring it back, and he's still choking. He must have choked for probably like 90 seconds or more. And J2 just has a clean round, cleans it up. I had Jerry very clear going into the battle winning. Got to apologize, even though it's not the craziest footage. It is a win for J2, 2-1 or 3-0, and a win over Jerry West is good. A little worried about Jerry. Lost to Rock, even though it was a good battle in Gnome. Got clipped by T-Top. Now he lost to J2. So that's 3 in a row. After the great DNA win, just feels the story of Jerry's career. He does something great, has a hard time keeping that consistency, and a good win for J2. And then quickly, Arsenal versus Chef Trez, which was the main event. Decent little battle. Like, a lot of these were just decent, not crazy, but I called this one different than they did in the building. A lot of people gave it to Ars 2-1. Good amount of people still do, I think, particularly the first and third, and he definitely won the first. I mean, Chef Trez rapped the TikTok. He rapped like 40 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear Chef Trez didn't have energy, this and that, I could see that in the first, and if you leave the door open, Arsenal's not always going to have the most tailored content by any means, but he has the ability to just rap really well, perform really well, and kind of get past, whatever he has to get past. Who's up 1-0? I gave Chef Trez the second and third. I just thought his content was better, much more like serious Chef Trez, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, he didn't rebuttal. That's a big reason. I think they kind of are conditioned when he doesn't rebuttal, he's not doing good. It's not the case. He's really good in the second and the third. I think Arsenal's best round is the third as well, but if there's a difference here, it's Arsenal. He had a defeat bar, he had a step and light the block up like Billie Jean. What he I got a bitch that says she tells the truth, but her favorite color is lilac. Just anything. So you could still, I guess, argue Arsenal first and third in this one, but content-wise, I just thought that there was a big difference, and I still gave Chef Trez second and the third, had him winning the battle 2-1. Okay battle, but with all that being said, Hansel 2-1 first and third over Dice. Woosah 2-1-30 over Jack. J2 2-1-30 over Jerry West. Then I personally had it Trez 2-1 over Arsenal. And with that all being done, let's talk about the battle of the night. Let's get into breaking down Sheet Happens versus Jay the Nitewing. So battle starts out on Jay the Nitewing, and I will say the first to me is the clearest round of the battle, and it's a good round from both. Jay has the you asked for my help, that's nothing new but bad for your health, but me taking this battle shows that I got more love for you than you have for yourself. And that might take you guys a minute. It's just not a traditional punch. I love the way he phrased it. Like, you even battling me shows me that I love you enough to help you, but why would you be battling me? I just love it. Very simple, but very good. This battle is pre-past tense. About to see what happens to happens itself. I like that. And make sure happens never happens again while it keeps happening. So I can't do Jay's bars justice because his writing is so layered and really like it's based in the rapping ability itself. He truly, DNA says in the battle from the background, one of one, there's just no one that raps anything like him. And I really like these few bars. And now the fallout of this battle has the crowd breathing in your ashes. I like that. The diafollicles bar I thought was dope. The reanimated bar I thought was dope. He had this little concept about Lord of the Rings. It was like a mini scheme, Lord of the Rings to Return of the King. I thought that was good as well. And now, when you die, you wouldn't hear any good riddance till you leave. Good riddance when someone's saying goodbye, and then good riddance when you leave. But this is a powerhouse first from Sheet Happens, and one of one in his own right too. People try to compare him to Bill, but I think Sheed, while the animation and somewhat the funny voices and stuff is the same, he's really in his own lane with what he does. You're gonna stay pretty still like Yoshi's titties, and that's how we know you're not gonna move. So I thought that was clever to start out. One that I don't think the crowd caught, talking about how Jay used to be committing crimes, right? Lived a different life. You won't talk about how Nitewing used to be Robin, and now he's above them circus acts. For my Batman people out there, Robin used to be on the the circus shit, doing the flips. I thought that was dope. It's just a clever little bar. But this is the night we leave, like Harriet Tubman, fire. One of his first haymakers of the battle, in my opinion. I'm not saying you got to reload with the bullets that came at him, but this is where the round picks up. The flip on the infamous Hitman Hollow bar. He got in his pocket. I could not even try to quote it. It's what is it? When every word starts with the same letter, he did it with the letter P, alliteration. But he is this, she's my Creole Cleopatra, suppressor pushing past, the pocket he hit was fire. It wasn't even just about the bar itself, it's about the rapping ability. Pop wing on the fly and slow down breathing tactics. I thought that was dope. The box mag looked like a sleeve of crackers. I thought that was dope as well. Wing cheap like Expedia. Traffic control couldn't guide wing. A lot of good wing flips in here. The mechanical bull is throwing me off. This whole mechanical bull is throwing me off. Jay is a mechanic. When you're on the mechanical bull, obviously the whole goal is to throw you off. Right on the side of Night, like Tupac's murder, the little Suge Knight bar in there I liked. Paris Hilton, something about maybe he was shooting his eyes. I don't remember the whole setup, but it was like Paris Hilton, this night vision fucked. I thought that was dope, but then he has a bar here. Talk about how Jay doesn't hold guns correctly in his battle rap gestures kinda, and he's like, you won't even hold your autocorrect. You're all types of wrong. And that's a bar that I'm kind of surprised no one has said before. That was a haymaker, and it's right there. It feels like someone would have said that autocorrect bar, but I thought that was great. Pockets all throughout, we know who Sheet is. It was this whole King's Guard, kind of getting at the fact, Jay, you don't perform, you don't move, you're very standstill. It's just, it's him giving you a variety of attacks. He's hitting you with the haymakers, the punches, kind of the comedy with the animation, and that's kind of Sheet Happens when he's at his best. The green, even if I don't move like the Green Army man, the Green Army soldier toys, it's still action. They'll be still with it. duct tape wing up like a spirit flight, and then he ends on one of the best bars of the battle. Choke him out till it's no heartbeat like Eddie Kane, and then nights like this. That was crazy. If you guys could find that clip, I wish I could clip it here, you know what I'm saying, app footage, but the Eddie Kane nights like this bar, Sheed happens at his best. Like, I don't want to say only he can make a bar like that happen, but really is one of the few guys that can take the animation, and I thought that was incredible. So clearly won the first round. Not much to talk about here. I just wanted to give credit to all of Sheed's bars here and like the different approaches he took. And the Eddie Kane nights like this bar, absolutely ridiculous. One of the best bars of the battle. So he was up 1-0 clear going into the second. So second round back on Jay. And like I said, the first was the clearest round of the battle. The second is the closest round of the battle. And you really can go either way with this one. But so, you know, I have no problem with either way that you call it, but I just have to say, I'm not going to call a tie, I get my winners, but it's that close. But starts out on Jay. They can't tell a beauty mark from a blemish, which is why they oversell it. And I'm flawless without a mole, so how does this counter intelligence? You know, mole, like CIA mole counter intelligence. And I don't even do it the proper justice, like I'll say again, with the way he rhymes into it, but I thought that was sneaky. That was good. The Wolverine, I thought there was a clause to y'all skeletons, but maybe I'm just meddling. Complained about X-Men bars earlier, but I thought that was pretty clever with the Wolverine one. You trying to break the cycle by pedaling backwards. Just clever, a different way of thinking. Death occurs so much. The church... I've made death occur so much that the church feels secular. I had to look up what secular means, and it's like kind of like absence of religion, like in a religious building in a sense. So that was crazy the way that he put that together. I'm the tailor of the suit that you find in your pit, and I do my best work when I find you unfit. This is like that philosophical, you know what I mean, bag that I'm talking about that he gets into. It's a little bit of like a horrorcore type of rap bag. He go and die EE like a DEI and get forced higher, like forced to a higher power, and then the DEI forced higher bar. I thought that was one of his better bars the second. It's gonna be a tragic scene, gross like pre-taxes. I thought that was fire. He had this whole pocket, talk about Sheed's pocket earlier with alliteration. He had one that I can't even attempt to try to like reenact here, but the Greek priest that knows how to read Latin the whole way he led up, I thought that was crazy. And then the Sheed has been bar at the end was dope too. And then you get to Sheed's round. I think Jay's round is a bit more efficient, but Sheed's round is also really good with a couple of those higher highs as you get into it. He kind of has this whole, for anyone that's seen the meme of like the racist guy wearing the Burger King hat on the plane, like Sheed starts with the Burger King hat, kind of playing off the whole like king thing. So that was cool to start out. I didn't mind it. I had a couple bars out of it. Everybody hates Chris Props. He's a broke character. He was broke in the show. I like that. I did B&Es to get out the middle seats. Super fire. You know, if you go to a plane, the B, like A, B, C, the B middle seat, E middle seat on the other side. So I thought that was crazy. Sheed, are you in over your head like a hip toss? Clever. And he kind of had some drug talk here that I thought was good too. Put more cookies on that plane than Biscoff. You know, a lot of plane bars from him. He might have written this whole second on the plane, to be honest with you. More plane cookies than Biscoff. And now I can fade away now that my lean back in the air, like so you put lean on the plane, but fade away, you know, like MJ fading away with the lean back. The chicken wing, the chicken wing, show your move. I thought that was crazy. Then he gets into those like the haymakers I was talking about, right? I thought that the Hawaiian rolls, you were supposed to have the best breads. It was actually a bar about his shoes, talking about his J's. And he's like, that's not how I thought of Hawaiian rolls. You're supposed to have the best breads. Crazy. And then another crazy one. That's why I'm fly without wing. That's why I'm fly without wing like Iron Man. Hands down. You know, when Iron Man be flying, he be having the hands down to like project in the air. Thought that was crazy. Joel Embiid skipped the games. You know what I'm saying? I fucking hate the Sixers. So I'm liking that bar every day of the week. Talks a little bit about Jay not branding. He's like, how are you a mechanic and not selling a shirt with your name on it? I thought that was crazy. And then he'll have the most sauce he's ever had in a casket when they dress Wing up. And I thought that was dope too. I thought he ended his second very, very good. I'm not mad at anyone calling this 1-1. I know a lot of people called this second clear. I do not feel like it's clear whatsoever. However, I am big on when a round is close like this, I go for like preferred peaks. And I do prefer Sheed's peaks a little bit at the end. I love the Iron Man bar. I love the Hawaiian roll. You're supposed to have the best breads. I even love even though it's not a haymaker, the most sauce in a casket when they have Wing dress up. I just love the way Sheed ended his round. Not mad at anyone calling it 1-1. I did personally edge Sheed the second and had him up 2-0 going into the third. And then you get to the third round of this battle. And the third from both of these gentlemen is a work of art, in my opinion. This is where the battle's at its peak. And it's been a good battle 2 rounds in, but I understand after watching their thirds why it got this hype in the building to say it's been the best battle of 2024 so far. So third starts on Jay. Admiration is new to you. You only think that you hate me. Different, you know what I'm saying? So I like that. Three chances. By the time you speak, it's 2. I thought that was cool. I done shot down more hope than lotteries gave. I like that. You only decide your spot, and I only decide if it's safe. Fire. I thought that was super fire. I put bodies on ice. I unfrosted the flakes, and it's not only is this good. This is great bar for bar stuff, but I can't stress enough, it's the way he's rapping, because it's his own sound. He's the only guy, really, you could say Ice maybe raps a little bit like this, but not nearly with the same pen and layered writing. So, love Frosted the Flakes bar. I loved. You could bump into me, and before it could be an honest mistake. But if you die first, and the apology's late, I thought that was fire. Don't think happenstance for you to think there's a chance to be had. Which I found happenstance means like there's a chance for something to be had. So it's like a flip of the same, defining the statement. You know what I'm saying? The not the slogan. It's the saying. You know what I mean? So the happenstance bar was dope. Maybe my favorite bar of the battle. Possibly. I done pulled up on beaches with enough firepower to turn sand into glass. Get the fuck out of here, Jay the Nitewing. That was crazy. Talking about kind of like his spirit staying by his loved ones. They should have never let you go. Now you got to let them go. It's about the spirit going to the other side. That was crazy. The cautionary tale. Talk about like you ever had a friend that's drunk, so you kind of like drove behind them, drove them home. This will be another cautionary tale. I like that. And then ends with a little bit of comedy where he's like, and since you still here, this round had nothing to do with you, but since you still here, leave my trophy with Beasley, which is just funny as hell. But the turn sand to glass, you know what I'm saying? You only decide your spot, I only decide if it's safe. The body's on ice, frosted flakes, the apology's late. This is Jay the Nitewing's best third, not best third. This is Jay the Nitewing's best round, and his thirds typically are his best rounds. So I thought he was incredible. He left Earth in the third, but Sheed isn't far behind him. He's the Inception DiCaprio bar early on that I thought was dope. I got a motion detector just to get a sense of security. I like that. That was clever. I knew that this wouldn't be easy. This life wouldn't be easy. So now I got to sacrifice knights. I thought that was dope as well. In the back of my head, like Lord Voldemort, for anybody that's seen the Sorcerer's Stone, when the homie's got the like Lord Voldemort, its face in the back of his head, that was dope. Harry Potter shit. Plant that seed, so I plant that seed in the back like Bulbasaur, Pokemon bar. Also thought that was clever too, though. And then he gets into kind of like this like deep content bag in the third as well. The TV guide, and trying to find what channel will show remorse. Thought that was dope. I feel like employee of the month in a closing store. I feel like I'm rowing against the current and I can't roll no more. Like that pocket he got into was really dope. And the rapping, dog. Like rapping is the lost art of battle rap, when having your own flow. And that's what these two gentlemen have. And it's what makes the battle so good and refreshing, is like, it's just them. You can't get a Sheed Happens or a Jay the Nitewing anywhere else, but a Sheed Happens or a Jay the Nitewing. You know what I mean? I done been down hallways where an angel would look straight ahead. I thought that was dope. The small, it's a little jail bar, the small pillow for your head like a gaming chair. I thought that was dope too. And similar to how I love the turn sand in a glass bar by Jay the Nitewing, I love this bar by Sheed at the end of this third. There's a flip on Jay's make the floor bar, very one of his best bars against EK. You said you had to make the floor. I'm well aware. I had to sleep on vacant floors, and I had to make the floor look like I was never there. Oh my God, that shit is so good, dog. And the way he wrapped up into it, pure haymaker, and that's where his round cuts. And I do feel like as good as Sheed's third is too, maybe his best round, his first is his best round, but maybe his second best round. I really like Jay's third. I did end up giving Jay the third. I'd say even a bit comfortably as well. But that vacant floor bar, oh my, you almost want a bar like that is so good. You almost want to just give him the round for the one bar. I just thought Jay had as many, matching highs. I thought Jay had more highs, more of those peak haymakers. But the third is masterful from both of them. It's both of them at their absolute best. Really, this battle is nearly, maybe I've seen slightly better Jays, but that's just to speak on how high his level is, not to downgrade this performance. Very, very good. And I think you can debate Jay the Nitewing 2 and 3. I think the battle comes down to the second. Clearly gave Sheed the first. I won't go as far to say super clearly gave Jay the third, but very comfortably gave him the third. And it's just a matter of who you give that second to. So I edged the battle to Sheed Happens 2-1 first and second. But this is a stock raiser for both gentlemen. And, I don't do the whole battle of the year contender thing in January, but I will say so far into the year, it is the best battle I have watched in 2024. And I meant to say best battle of 2025, but fuck it, I'm probably not going to edit that out, you know what I'm saying, all things considered. But that is kind of my full thoughts on Jay the Nitewing versus Sheed Happens, the review bar for bar here. Really my full thoughts on Nexus overall. A lot of people were happy for the card going in. We did not get JC versus Saflair Soul. Something happened that Saflair didn't make it, which is tough, you know what I'm saying? Especially a guy that we were saluting because he's had some no-shows, but he's finally returning into a big battle here with JC. Maybe we'll get some reasoning on why that battle didn't go down. It's my battle of the night, but I said if it didn't go down, it would be Sheed and Jay, and Sheed and Jay very clearly ended up being the battle of the night. So yeah, I had Sheed Happens 2-1 edge. Like I said, for those that are going to give Jay the second, have Jay second edge, third clear in a 2-1. I'm not mad at that one whatsoever. For the rest of the card, you got to give credit to the winners like J2. Woosaw continues his momentum as well, right? Hansel and Dice, even though it was judged and now there's this choking controversy with it, the controversy probably adds to it because it's already a pretty good battle. So it's a good look for both of the top 12 guys. And, for Hansel to get that judge win back, that's big for him. And Ars and Trez can be a bit forgettable, especially with two guys that are that active. And there's going to be people that give the battle to Ars. I disagree, you know what I'm saying? I think they're looking over a lot of really content errors with that. But it's one of the better arsenals I've seen. And to say he was the most disappointing battler of the year last year, as I felt, at least in the top two. And for him to start out with what is a good performance and a good result. There's a lot of people that got him beating Chef Trez, who's been incredible the last 2 years. I still have Trez winning, but props to Arsenal as well. And even with a little bit of uncleanliness throughout the card, I still think overall it was pretty good. They announced Twerk versus Kid Slade is now rebooked for February 22nd. So looks like they're having a card next month, and that's quite the battle to throw on there, right? I know people are looking forward to that. But overall, solid start to the year from URL. And I'm hearing that card with Twerk and Slade is going to be even better than this one. So looking forward to what they do with their next event. But want to hear your guys' thoughts as always. Who did you have winning the battles if you watched them? Of course, Sheed and Jay is the main focus here. So how did you call it? What rounds? Do you feel like it's the best battle of 2025 so far? And then what are some of your other standout performances on the card? Or maybe people you want to see get a push from URL in 2025 that battled here, man. But it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.